for a treatment. Those are useful for that. Other thing that we have is genetic inherited.
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 Inherited. So, if we have parents that are
Addicted.
addicted or are
Consumers of drugs.
consume drugs, consume alcohol, tobacco, stimulant, you have more probability of being an addict.
Explain that to me. How does it occur? Any idea?
Well, I searched that depending on the generation of the persons. So if your father or your mother have your at their at certain age, if they consume, um, their children have a more probability to be to lead in addiction, but it's not necessarily. It's not for sure. For more probability.
Just a quick example. Okay. What am I doing? I can turn on and turn off. Genetics is that way. You can turn on genes and you can turn them off. So there are genes that are likely for consumption, right? Or any addiction. So by consuming this chemical agent, you activate a gene, and the gene is going to be taken to the next offspring, like the children, right? So children inherit the predisposition to consume the drug, yeah, because of genetics. By the genes and laws, you just turn off or turn on. Like obesity as well. We have the gene for obese people, but it's in us to activate or deactivate. You don't eat, but 2 times a day, it's activated. So the genotype of obesity is going to be turned on. So it's recommended to consume something like every 3 hours, every 3 hours, every 3 hours. So you don't activate your genotype. Like the same with drugs. So,
Also, some diseases are genetic inherited, like diabetes.
it's diabetes.
So, for example, diabetes. So we have to contrast the alcohol and tobacco because are more common drugs that are in the world. Let's say I have this chart that you can see in this year. Then this year you can see the increment of the data. So
you can the increase. The increase. The
increase of the numbers of the chart.
I can say that women numbers go lower, are lower in 2008, and then they are dramatically increased for 2011, rather, women. Country is men instead of any. Or you can say any country is not immune.
Yes.
Because immunity is nothing. In all countries, drug is a deal. Is a problem,
country
right?
is immune.
Okay, so yeah, no country is immune. We are vulnerable.
Yes. So well, in our country, how my parents say, the younger people is the most vulnerable of this problem. And well, this is a big problem because affect all of us. And well, like here in the picture, maybe in some Mexico, in Mexico, is the poverty or the
Exactly.
that augments this the problem of drugs.
Exactly.
And we're going to talk drug traffickers, and I think that everybody have listened about this and have been presented this. And this war is basically violence, corruption, deaths, poverty, and injustice. Because, well, when the government of Felipe Calderon was very violent and represented this act, and I found some about the militaries in some books that suppose that these militaries helped us, but really they do to violence and contribute to, I don't know, to damage more the society that helped that.
More damage than the help
Yes.
that was supposed to give us. Right?
So in the community are two lights, and the light that obviously wants that the traffic drug stops, and the other light that wants the decriminalization of some illegal drugs. And you says that the marijuana is life and that don't being prohibited. But well, if this is really a war, I think that the criminalization of drugs is like a surrender or rendirse. So
We have just a couple of minutes left.
yes. So well, this war have 50,000 dead is just the beginning. So where I think that this war is not only of the government of Mexico, is a war of all of us, because well, the parents on us have the responsibility to, I don't know, the parents have the responsibility to keep away her children the drugs, and we have the responsibility to don't consume or help of our country. And this is all.